All right, let's do it. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Today's session is just a quick 15-minute overview of MITRE ATT&CK book that AttackIQ just released. It's There's a link over there in the chat. I'll post it later on as well. Hello, everyone. My name is Victor Monga. I work for a company called VMware, based out of Palo Alto, California. I am a leader and I volunteer for a few communities such as Cloud Security Alliance, Virtually Testing, and ISECA. I won't talk much about myself. If you would like to learn more about me or connect with me, please find me on LinkedIn and or Twitter. Let's get a disclaimer out of the way. This session is not sponsored by any company or my employer, so all of my discussion or talking point is my opinion, and just in short, don't sue my employer, please. All right, if you guys now have heard of MITRE or Attack Matrix, I would encourage you to go to attack.mitre.org. MITRE is an American non-profit organization, and they really embrace a lot of things for cybersecurity community. And one of the things I want to highlight is what they did. Lockheed Martin's had a kill chain methodology, and what MITRE did, they actually panned that out as Attack Matrix. If you would want to learn more about effectiveness of your security controls, I would highly encourage you to go and check it out, Attack Matrix from MITRE, and that's the best way to start it. This is what their website looks like, and I'll show you guys really quick right here. So you can see all of these different scenarios that you could try it out in your organization. It's the best way to start and test your security controls. All right, AttackIQ. So AttackIQ came in light about 2013, based out of sunny California in San Diego. They have really embraced the three terms: tactics, techniques, and procedures. We also call it TTPs. Once again, tactics, techniques, and procedures. And they took it to the next level. They are built on MITRE ATT&CK framework of an adversary tactics, techniques, and procedures, and emulates those TTPs to exercise security controls in the same way an adversary will do in your production environment. So how would an adversary will come into your environment and try to hack around and try to exploit those crown jewels that you've been trying to protect and put those security controls around it. Once again, this is their website. If you have not gone through it, please go ahead. I encourage you to go check it out, attackiq.com. All right. Now, topic of the day. If you've not downloaded this ebook, it's free, offered by AttackIQ. So you can scan the QR code. It's on our LinkedIn and Twitter. It'll take you to the post where you can download the ebook that we're going to discuss today, and you can read about it. All right. This the book is going to look like. With that, I am going to jump right into the book. This the book would look like, and once again, the intent of this session is not to go with the content of this book. It's rather to tell you guys what's in there so you can read about it and also learn and give credit back to AttackIQ for investing this back to the community. There are 8 chapters and it's 52 pages cover to cover. So it's not a lengthy, boring book. 52 pages. I think you can cover it within an hour, and you learn a lot about it. And theme of this book, and you'll see this again and again, is how do you validate your controls? I know a lot of our security community members and security leaders, we are implementing security controls. But how do you test it? How do you validate it? How do you know if you put a security control, if it's working or not? And that's the intent of this book, to get you thinking about it. If you're not, if you are thinking about it, give you the ideas to start implementing it. And if you are implementing it, maybe get you to the advanced level. So once again, this book is intent for new or mature security programs. So it's not if you already have a program and if you feel like that's something that, or something is missing in that program, this book can give you a lot of those ideas. And for those who have no idea what MITRE ATT&CK framework is, this is the best way to start. Read this book. And once again, thanks to AttackIQ to put together this book with MITRE, and they have given this to community, and we should definitely leverage it. It's going to talk about the terms such as blue, red, and purple teams. Once again, I know 70% of us in security community are well aware of those teams and the terms, but if you have not heard of those terms and those teams, this book also gives you visibility. For those of us who are already aware of those terms, this gives you a clear, concise view of those teams, how to use them. Because that's the most important part for any security program. We know that for example, we have a blue team, we have a red team, and maybe we hire a purple team to kind of bridge the gap, or we hire a purple team and we have contractors for blue or red team as an ad hoc. But how do you use that? How do you incorporate that to test your effectiveness of security controls? And that's what this book is all about. How does you and your organization benefit from MITRE ATT&CK matrix? And that's again coming back to the use cases. How do you use this attack matrix? How do you actually make this as a justification for your board, for your senior management, for your executives to use this framework to test your security controls so that you can test the gaps? You can see what's missing. So you're not just investing and wrapping around one side of the security controls. You can actually see where the gaps are and maybe put the projects and budget time and efforts into those things that they're not there in your security program currently. It's easy to continue building on something you already have it. But if there's a gap, there's a hole, there's a void, how do you fix that? And that's where the effectiveness of testing your security controls, and it's well laid out in this book. This book also reads about open source intelligence, OSINT, and how do you incorporate that? There's so much data out there about us, about your company, about your company employees, about your senior management, executives. How do you use that data? And how do you prioritize it? And Attack Matrix actually give you a lot of indicators and pointers. How do you use OSINT? Once again, open source intelligence data. It's very, very powerful, and this book reads about it. Now, my instructor from SANS, Dr. Eric Cole, he has a slogan, I should say: detection is a must, prevention is ideal. So this book also reads about how to detect things on the endpoint level, on the network level. And once you have that type of data to gain visibility, what do you do with it? And that's the actionable intel we always talked about, actionable alerts we talked about. And this framework actually gives you a lot of pointers and gives you information what to do with that data. This book is not just about giving you pointers, or you should need this, or you should actually look at these logs. It gives you clear, confirmed ideas that you should use to collect that detection, or the logs, or how to use them. I'm going to look at the chat if anybody has a question. So far, no questions. We're going good. All right. Now, as I said, this book is going to talk about what to do with that data, that detection data, because you can get all the data from all the operating system and the network firewall, switches, routers, and all of your cloud instances you have it. But the key is what to do with that data. How would an adversary would use that data to pivot, and how do you detect it? And that's where MITRE ATT&CK matrix comes in light. Now, it also discusses detection techniques such as command line monitoring, authentication logs. And I know 5 years ago, we didn't know a whole lot about authentication logs and what to do with it. But today, we really care for it because we can correlate it. If I'm authenticating my user as Victor Monga from here in LA, and all of a sudden, it actually pops up another authentication log from, let's say, India. Within 10 minutes, there's no way I travel to India from LA in 10 minutes. I would like to, but I won't be able to. So if I'm getting that correlation, I know one of those authentication is an adversary. So how do you get the authentication logs? And using MITRE ATT&CK matrix, you can actually simulate those and see how an adversary will use the logs, and what do you do when you detect it? Do you block my access? Do you call me? Do you email me? What do you do with it? What about file and registry monitoring? This book reads about it. This book tells you about it. Also, packet capture. I know for my network geeks in the audience here, we love packet captures and we want to capture everything. At the same time, keep in mind, if we are capturing everything, how do you actually prioritize during an incident? This book reads about it. How to prioritize those detection techniques. Now, this book also talks about attack techniques to build playbooks. So once you have the detection, and it's never going to be 100%, it's always going to be what you can based on your tools, your techniques. And this book also talks about that once you build those playbooks, what to do with it. How do you simulate that? And that's where I think AttackIQ brings a lot of value on the table to having something automated. Because there's no way you can scale the manpower that you need to test those security controls. You need an automated way. You need a software way. Chapter 8 is all about 10 ways to apply the MITRE ATT&CK framework. And that's my best chapter that I really loved reading again and again about it, because I want to say 95% of the use cases from any organization, it doesn't matter if you're in healthcare, you're in financial, if you are entertainment, if you are SLED, doesn't matter which vertical, 95% of the use cases will be covered in Chapter 8, 10 ways to apply MITRE ATT&CK framework. It might not be everything that you need for your organization. It gives you a starting point. It also gives you food for thought that you can use. You could take it back to your organization next time when someone is talking about measuring your security controls. You can use these ways and maybe consider using MITRE ATT&CK framework. Now, as I said, even if you're new or well-mature security program, you still need validation, security pipeline validation. And there's a topic in this book that you will read about it, security pipeline validation. This book also reads about understanding your adversaries based on your vertical, your organization, your size, and then turning that into threat-informed defense instead of having just capture of threat intelligence seamlessly that we have been doing it or chasing it for a while. This book talks about threat-informed defense. This book also talks about how do you use this for SSDL and modeling. So if you are using software security development lifecycle and modeling, how do you use this attack matrix? We only have 1 minute left, so I'm going to breeze through a couple of things that you will read in this book. Once again, intent of this 15-minute quick review is to give you guys enough food for thought to read this book. It's only 52 pages, 8 chapters. You learn a lot about atomic tests to test your security controls, automated platform, help you more efficient with attack matrix. You learn about the simulation platforms to deploy attack matrix. You learn about MITRE ATT&CK to implement a threat-informed defense. So, as I said, this session is not about actually going through the content. It's giving you guys a quick overview of this book and just saying or encouraging everyone to go read about it. 52 pages, 8 chapters, not a whole lot. Within one hour, you can finish it and you'll learn a lot about it. With that, I'm going to take a pause and see if anyone has any questions in the chat. I don't see any questions. All right, we are at the mark. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. My name is Victor Monga.